Hello, Omar Budi. It gives me great pleasure to speak with an Algerian journalist. My name is Avi Schiffman, and I'm 17 years old, and I live around Seattle-ish area in the United States of America. And yeah, so I'm gonna be going through the questions that you sent me in Skype. So the first question is, how did you think about creating the site when the situation only affected China, and how did you get started? So I started this website, back in late December, early January, when there was basically nobody talking about the coronavirus, and there were less than 1,000 cases, and they were all inside of just Wuhan area of China. There was not really anybody talking about it that much, and especially in the United States. And I just so happened to come across a lot of articles about this, and I noticed it was just really hard to get the information. If you wanted the most up-to-date numbers, you had to go to local Chinese government websites that were mostly entirely in Chinese, and they were just all full of government wordings, and it was just hard to find the numbers. I just wanted a table of numbers, or I could read news articles, but they were mostly out of date by the time I read them, anyways, and they came out days later and everything like that. So I thought I could just do a better job, and I basically created something to automatically take the numbers from these sources and pull it all together into a nice looking dashboard that was just visually appealing. On a mobile device, you open it up, the first thing you see is just the quick facts. You see the total deceased, the total confirmed cases. The numbers that you need are just right there in front of you as soon as you look at it. And I think it's a really big deal just to get the information out there instead of it all being locked behind these Chinese kind of sources and everything like that. All right. And the second question is, the concept of the site is to follow the evolution of the pandemic across the world with an update every minute. I'm not sure if I understand that question. The third question is, what sources do you use to get the information, especially during fake news, for example, the case of Algeria? Yeah, so a lot of the sources I have are directly to the government places. I do have bigger sources like the WHO and the CDC, but a lot of these governments, they have local CDC kind of pages. So let's say Korea, for example, they have like a local government page that just has a table of numbers. What I'm able to do is basically download that table and add it to a much larger data set that includes all the other countries, and I'm able to do that for basically all the countries. However, it is harder to get these numbers from more authoritarian governments such as Russia and China. It's hard to know if you can even trust any of these numbers. A lot of people believe that these numbers are underreported, or they're not the actual numbers, or it's 50 times what it's being reported. But I'm only able to report what the governments are able to report. So I hope that in the future people are a lot more transparent with these kinds of things. But yeah, so it gets directly from the sources, so directly what the governments of those countries are saying to their public. And I can only trust those numbers. But yeah. All right, so the fourth question you asked is, you have received several offers to put advertisements on your site, but you have not accepted. Why? So yeah, I got offered $8 million to basically completely own the website. And I get offers all the time from all kinds of ad agencies to put all kinds of ads, or I could put ads myself on it, with Google advertisements. But I think that, in my opinion, it is morally wrong, and I feel like I would be a profiteer kind of person if I was making tons and tons of money off people really dying. I mean, all I'm trying to do is get the information out there. The site was never created to make money or anything like that. There is a button that you can just buy me a coffee or something like that. But if I put advertisements on the site, I would have made like over $30 million. But that's not what I created this website for. And I don't want it to leave like a stain on my reputation and everything like that. I want the site to have a good user experience, and I feel like the information should be very easily accessible. It shouldn't be locked behind all these weird advertisements. And I don't want any like political biases. I don't want to be contractually having to run my website if I accept these weird offers and everything like that, where I have to keep my website running. It's my website. I want to do whatever I want with it, and I do not want to put advertisements. I do not want to have giant Trump advertisements all over my website. I want to keep it clean and minimalistic for the people that need to get the numbers fast, just at a glance. I don't want to ruin my website with these advertisements. And there's just so many reasons. And for me, just putting making millions and millions of dollars off just trying to get the information out there is something I don't believe in. So yeah, let's see. The final question is, what do you think of the site of the Algerian Health Ministry, how to publish statistics, and is this data correct? You sent me a link to a government website. So if I were to translate this into English, yeah, so a lot of these sites, especially this Algerian one I'm looking at right now, they may look nice on a desktop and stuff like that, but 80% of my traffic is from mobile users. A lot of people getting this information, are on the go. They're using a smartphone. They're not directly, being able to use a big computer and see this, big dashboard with all these, graphs and things all over the place. I think it's very crowded and everything. If I just want the information on my website, the quick numbers are just right there. The total confirmed, the total deceased, the total recovered. It's as soon as you open up the website, it's the first thing you see. If I were to try and open this website on a mobile device, I don't think I would have a very good time. There's just so much information. There's so much, complicated maps to load and graphs and, all these complicated things. It makes it a lot harder to get the information just at a glance and everything like that. So, I think that they did a nice job with the dashboard on a computer. But, if I were to use this, as a mobile user on like my smartphone, like an iPhone, I would have a terrible time. So, yeah, but I do think they did a good job. But yeah, I thank you so much for letting me do this interview. It is a pleasure to do an interview with a place in Algeria, all the way over here in the United States. I live in specifically Washington State. It's across the entire world. So, it gives me great pleasure to speak with you, and I hope you all have a great day or night. Thank you.